Story Descriptor present. Today, I'm going to explain an horror drama film called The Maid. The story starts as a girl tells her therapist about a ghost she sees at the house she maids for. A little girl named Ned has a toy monkey. When she goes to bed and no one is around, the monkey starts making noises and walking around. Only the maid can see him. She is too terrified to continue the job, so she asks Ned's mother, Uma, to let her go. Uma promises Ned she will find another maid for her. Uma is the wife of a very wealthy businessman, Nirak. Their only child is Ned. The couple does not have a good relationship but are still together. The maid tells her therapist that she also sees the spirit of a girl in the house. Ned and the maid are the only ones who can see her. Uma and Nirak are worried about Ned and her delusions. She is diagnosed with dementia. That night, Uma goes to her husband's office and finds some pictures hidden inside a book. The following day, a new maid named Joy arrives at the house. The head maid, Juan, shows her around the house and introduces her to Ned. Ned is a shy kid. She doesn't talk very much, but loves to draw. She has also never been out of the house. Juan tells Joy that the only way for her to survive in this house is by minding her own business. The house driver, Chai, then shows Joy the place she is supposed to stay at. Joy is surprised to get a whole house to herself. She sees Chai off and starts unpacking. That night, she stands in front of the mirror posing in her new maid uniform when she sees someone going upstairs. Joy takes a candle stand and tries to see who it is. A person stands on top of the stairs, but Joy is too afraid to approach them. She goes back to her room and thinks of her last job. She was a maid for a foreign family before she got this job. That night Joy has nightmares about someone standing at her door. The following day is Joy's first day on the job. She meets Uma first thing in the morning and Uma asks her why she had left her last job as a maid, to which Joy says because the family left for their country. One of Joy's jobs is to take care of Ned. She puts her to sleep by singing a song her sister used to sing when she was little. As she is about to leave the room, Joy senses someone standing in the corner. But when she turns around, there is no one there. Later, she is taking the laundry out when she runs into Nirak. He asks for her name, but doesn't say anything else. Joy, Juan, and the other housemate Born are in the kitchen. Born asks Joy her favorite song and dances as she plays one herself. Juan offers Joy chocolate that Uma has gifted them to share. That night, Joy and Ned are in the bathroom. Ned takes a bubble bath while Joy plays with her when all of a sudden, Ned sees someone at the door. Joy checks to see someone standing behind her through the mirrors. When they get out, Joy asks Ned if she sees the person too. Ned agrees. She wants Joy to read her a bedtime story. While searching for a book, she finds the one her sister used to read for her. Ned soon falls asleep listening to Joy. But after she leaves, Ned wakes up and comes face to face with the ghost. The next day, Joy snoops through the library and finds some pictures. One of them is a picture of Uma, Nirak, and another maid. Just then, she looks up to see the ghost she had seen yesterday. It looks very much like the girl in the picture. Scared, she runs outside and comes across Ned standing at the door of her room. The ghost pulls Ned inside and locks the door. As Joy looks through the glass door, Ned appears behind her, but the spirit is still inside. She takes Ned with her and runs away. Joy and Ned tell everything that has happened to Uma, but no one takes them seriously. She shows Uma the picture she found and tells her that the ghost looks like the maid, only to be dismissed by her. After everyone leaves, Uma stares at the maid in the picture. Her name is Ploy. She used to work there almost 6 years back. Nirak and Uma's relationship was not great at the time, which made Uma very lonely. In those times, Ploy was her only friend. Their friendship grew with time, and Uma became very affectionate with Ploy. One day when Nirak stayed out for work, Uma and Ploy had sex. Uma looks at the picture, reminiscing about her best friend. The following day, Joy asks her maid friends about Ploy's disappearance. One scolds her for prying into others' business, but Born tells her that Ploy disappeared one day and never returned. She also asks the driver Chai the same question, to which he says that more than a maid, Ploy used to be Uma's only friend. But she disappeared one day and never came back. Later, Joy hears Uma scolding Ned for her drawings. Joy notices that most of her drawings have 3 people in them. She asks Ned who they are. She answers that those are her parents and the maid. Joy is shocked, but doesn't say anything. Next, Joy sees Ploy's spirit in Niraka's office while passing by and tells him about it, but he dismisses her as well. Then he sits down and stares at Ploy's picture. As he does that, he reminisces of Ploy. She comes into his office to offer him tea. It is clear that Nirak is attracted to her. A few days later, Ploy comes into his office again. She asks him if she can borrow a book. He stands behind her as she picks one. One thing leads to another, and they end up having sex. Both Uma and Nairak had affairs with Ploy. That night as Joy is putting Ned to sleep, they are haunted by Ploy again. This time, Ploy leads Joy to various parts of the house to tell her what happened to her 6 years ago. First, they are at Nairak's office. There Joy sees Ploy telling Nairak that she is pregnant with his child. Both of them are happy. Next, she sees Uma and Nairak discussing the matter. They are delighted that the house will have a child. Then, Nairak is taking care of a pregnant Ploy. She also sees Ploy singing to her newborn. Joy realizes that Ned is, in fact, Ploy's daughter. Ploy goes to the bathroom to prepare a bath for Ned. She hears Nid cry midway and rushes to see her. But since the floor is slippery, she falls and hits her head. The blood forms a pool on the floor, but no one comes to her help. Uma finally sees her lying there, but instead of helping her, she closes the door to let her die and takes Nid with her. Sometime later, Nairak comes and assumes Ploy is dead. Chai, Born and Juan help Nairak wrap her body in plastic and bury her outside the house. But as they are digging, Ploy starts to move. She is still alive, but no one notices. At last they bury her alive. Joy realizes that the whole family has lied to her up until now. She starts singing the song her sister used to sing for her. Ploy comes behind her and starts singing as well. Ploy happens to be Joy's elder sister. She left home to work years ago. Joy used to send her lots of letters, but finally, she stopped replying and disappeared. Next, we see Joy talking to her therapist. She asks Joy several questions about her job. Joy happily tells her that she has recently been appointed by a family because her last clients moved back to their country. But in reality, she had killed the previous family she worked for. Joy is actually a psychopath who has come here to revenge the family that killed her sister. Everyone at the house is preparing for Uma's upcoming birthday party. They get ready for the evening. While Joy is getting ready, we see her preparing an injection. The guests arrive at the house, and the couple greets them. They display grand fireworks. Joy and Chai are in the car watching it. She asks him again about Ploy. He lies again. Joy then takes a plastic bag and suffocates him to death. Next, she goes into the kitchen where Born is cutting vegetables, and asks her about Ploy too. Meantime, at the party, Uma asks Juan to tell Chai to prepare the car for guests. Although Uma and Nairaka's relationship is rocky, they seem to have made amends for the day. He compliments her, and they have a nice chat. In the kitchen, however, Born wakes up tied to a chair. Joy is working behind. She notices Born is up and tells her that she knows they helped Uma and Nairak to dispose of Ploy's body. Joy drugs the wine to be served to the guests. One sees dead Chai and freaks out. But before she can tell anyone, Joy injects her with a drug to kill her. She then leaves her beside Chai's dead body in the car. Joy then goes in and happily serves wine to the guests. Uma watches her as she does that. She goes back to the kitchen and apologizes to Born for being late. Joy maniacally plays the song they talked about on her first day and dances in front of her. She is wearing a transparent raincoat. Suddenly, she stabs Born on her neck with a kitchen knife, killing her. Blood splatters all over her, but she doesn't care. She then cleans up her face. Already, at the party, everyone sings happy birthday to Uma. Nairak leaves for his office upstairs due to some work. Uma asks Joy to take care of the guests, and goes up too. Joy then makes Ned listen to music with her headphones, so she doesn't hear what is happening downstairs. At the party, all the guests start to feel sick and pass out due to the drug. Joy takes this chance to stab and kill every one of them. She goes around the party, stabbing people several times. The whole party is a bloodied mess. Joy then goes upstairs to see Uma sitting in front of her mirror. She has found the letters Joy wrote to Ploy. She tells her that she could have just asked about her sister instead of making up fake stories. She then proceeds to tell her that Ploy had just disappeared suddenly. The lie angers Joy. She has added the drug to Uma's tea as well. As she takes a sip of it, she starts getting dizzy. She attacks Joy and strangles her, but Joy manages to stab her to death. As Uma lays on the ground, she sees Ploy lying next to her. Next is Nairak. He is in his office on a call. He takes the last sip of his alcohol, which Joy has drugged. He starts getting dizzy and sees Ploy's spirit going down the hallway. Passing his guests' dead bodies, he goes out the main entrance to see everything on fire. He hallucinates Ploy walking towards him, but realizes that it is Joy only after she stabs him. As he lays on the ground, he too sees Ploy lying beside him. Finally, Joy brings Ned downstairs and asks her to wait outside. The movie ends as she breaks down crying in front of the house. If you like this video, please subscribe our channel. Stay us for more videos.